All right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to our June 7th live event talking about being unemployable on purpose. So, for those of you I'm meeting for the first time, I am Myrna Atha, and I'm joined here today by one of my lifelong friends, Rachelle Roberts. And Rachelle and I actually grew up in Regina, Saskatchewan, in Canada. Rachelle still lives there today. And gosh, Rachelle, I mean, I guess I have to tell them now, but it's literally been 30 years. I mean, Mark and I, right? This month, we'll be married 28 years, and you and Paul,
We have been married 30 years.
30 years, right? So
Yeah,
actually, it's probably because we knew each other before you guys were married as well.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So fun,
Well,
so fun. Well, we are going to have a great conversation with y'all today and share with you a little bit about Rachelle's story and how she became unemployable on purpose. And it does start 31 years ago. The four of us actually all worked for the same company. So, Rachelle, let everybody know kind of where you were. I mean, start there,
yeah,
but then you left retail and kind of where you were prior to us starting to work together yet once again.
right. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Myrna. And thanks for inviting me on here. We're like sisters because we have known each other for so long. So I always feel so great being able to talk with you. And I feel like, sometimes I'm just so blessed to have such great people in my life. And you definitely are one of those people. So, yes, we have known each other for 30 years. I often joke that we knew Mark and Myrna before they were Mark and Myrna. So
Real,
yeah, we
real.
really do go a long way back. And boy, when we met, yeah, we were all in retail together. And those were great days. They really were. I look back on those days with a lot of joy. We had a lot of fun. And then, we started to have a family, my husband and I, and we had one little boy to start off our family life. And I had to really evaluate, what is my role in the workplace going to be like. So I continued to work retail for a little while Nathan was quite small. We were in Winnipeg at the time, so that was a little bit challenging too because we were young. I was a very young mom, and we didn't have any family around. So the whole thing of finding a babysitter, I didn't have grandma there, I didn't have sisters there or brothers and families, right? Um, and I remember walking into a daycare on Ness Avenue. And again, young mom, and walking in there, and I just looked around and I just started to cry. And I'm sure some of that was hormones and that kind of stuff. I'm positive of it. But I just like, no, I want to be a mom and I want to be home. And I honor all women's choices to work outside of the home or inside of the home, however. But for me, there was just something bred deep inside of me that was like, no, I want to be home with this baby, right? So, that led me on a bit of a journey. As I said, I did work part time after he was born for a little while. And then we were fortunate enough to be able to move back home to Regina when I was pregnant with our second son. So that there really allowed me to think about, again, like, now what do I want to do career wise? And I knew I wanted to be home with those boys and raise them. But I knew that I still wanted to contribute to our household financially. So that kind of led us on a bit of a journey to find something else, right? Like something else to add into our income stream, but that wouldn't take, my time away from my kids while they were really, really small, right? So yeah, that's kind of part of the beginning of our journey, and it was exciting and scary and challenging all at the same time.
So from there, then you got you started your own business doing
Yeah,
debt settlement, I guess is what you would call it.
that's
So
right.
tell us a little bit about that because
Yeah.
you started your own business.
Right. So I actually was a co-partner, and that was a really interesting time as well too, where my kids were getting older, so I didn't feel the need that I wanted to, or not wanted to, but needed to be at home every moment, kind of thing. So that was a really great opportunity for me to grow as a person and to learn another industry as well too. And always at the core of what I wanted to do with my life has been helping people. I just, again, I feel like God puts these um, gifts or talents into our hearts, and for me, I feel like I love doing that. I gain a lot of joy from helping people. So that industry was certainly very, very interesting, and dealing with people's creditors and that kind of thing. It wasn't always the most positive nature. And I just found that that really took a toll on me emotionally. And, I just knew that there was a time that I would need to wind down that business and really get back to my passion in the wellness industry and e-commerce industry. And I'm just so grateful that, all those stars aligned that allowed me to do that. And really get back to working with you and Mark and the rest of our team. It's just been such an amazing blessing in our life, not just mine, but our whole
Right.
family's lives. Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. Well, and your life, I think, looks a lot different now that you're able to really, again, be unemployable on purpose. I mean, it was different when you had your debt settlement business. I mean, you were still having to show up and go to work every single day.
Yeah.
It wasn't as flexible. And I know your passion has always been in, like you say, helping people. You're very authentic with that. But you've been able to help people with their health. In
Mhm.
fact, you know what? Let's just start there for a second because you just got an amazing certification. Tell everybody about that. I think it's amazing.
Well, a few years ago, actually, this has been on my heart for a long time, probably,
Mhm.
a good 10, 15 years. And, to go back to school at my age is not always an easy thing to do. But I just really felt a drive to just enhance my knowledge in the health industry. So, yes, I did that. And it was, it's interesting, Brenna, because what really pushed me over the edge with doing this for myself, because this was not for my kids or my husband
Right.
or anybody else. This was for me. And I think that that's why it took me so long to make that decision as women. Sometimes we put ourselves behind everyone else, right? So
Mm,
it was actually when, everything with COVID and the pandemic started to hit. It's like, okay, maybe this is the time that I'll have that little bit of extra time to focus on studying and enhancing my education. So my husband, I think he just, bless his soul, I think he just got really sick and tired of listening to me talk about it forever. And he's just like, will you do it already? He's like, if you don't, I am just going to phone up that school and register you myself. So I thought, no way, I am doing this on my own. So
okay, so what's your official title?
oh, I'm a certified holistic nutritionist. And, that's just the beginning. It's just the
Yeah,
beginning. I'm so looking forward to just continuing that part of my career and just using that to help my clients and
mhm,
just, again, enhance people's lives. Just sometimes it's just simple things that people need to be aware of and not so much taught, but just learning how to live their healthiest life. And again, sometimes it's just really simple and easy changes that people just don't know. And
sure.
I can be a vehicle for their learning. Then I'm happy with that. It's great
Yeah,
for me. So yeah,
awesome. So what is that's how life looked then.
yeah.
Now, what does it look like day to day? What's a day in the life of Rachelle Roberts? Tell us a little bit about your schedule and what do you do? What do you spend your time at?
Well, it's interesting because each day is different, right? And I love that. There was a word that I learned a long time ago, and it was monotonous, right? And boy, that is almost like a swear word in people's lives. Some people love it, but the monotony of life can sometimes get overwhelming, right? So each day is very different. Two of my standard um, the practices that I need to do are obviously I love getting up early. I love the quiet of the morning. We get summer for about like a month here. No, maybe 3 months in Saskatchewan.
Right?
So,
Yeah.
I can sit outside on my deck and just really take in nature and God's beauty. And just have my quiet time, be in the Word, read, just set my intentions for the day, and exercising, taking care of myself. And it's not for any vanity reasons. It is simply because I grew up in a family that wasn't healthy. As far as my parents went, they had a lot of health issues, and I just made some decisions a long time ago in my life that I want to make a generational change. I want my kids to be healthy, and I want to be an example to them. So I make sure that, as I said, turned 50 this year. I think I had said that. I want to be strong and I want to be healthy as I go into this next decade of my life. So, yeah, that I always make sure to start off that way, set those intentions for the day, and I love working. I I love what I do, and I'm just so blessed to be able to work that out in many different ways in a day. So I just love connecting with my clients. I try to do that each and every day, and just really talking with people, communicating with them, building community. And again, this last few years, and I hate to dwell on the past, but I do know that people are craving connection. And when I can again be an avenue for that, or even just an ear for a friend, like I couldn't, 10, 15 years ago, I couldn't take half an hour or 45 minutes in a day and just sit and listen to somebody. I can now. And I'm very, very grateful for that. So yeah, and being at home, being able to prepare meals for my family. It's not like I have little kids anymore, but I do have a husband. He loves to cook too, but he's out working for most of the day. So that's just a role that I love. I love being able to care for my family that way. And we still have one son living at home. I love being able to, again, prepare those meals so that they can do the best for their day as well. And yeah, taking care of my family, my elderly parents, and yeah, just being parts of groups that are part of our community, and
Mhm.
a part of our faith community as well too, like being able to do those things that really matter. And my husband and I are on the same page. We want this type of life. And Myrna, I have to say, you told me a phrase many, many years ago, design your life. And I had never heard that before. You probably had said it a million times, but I had never really heard that. And it really resonated with me. It's like we only have one life to live. We only
Right.
have one. I want to design it the way that works best for
You
myself.
know what, Rachelle, I'm glad you brought that up because, sometimes we hear things, but we don't hear them, right? Like maybe it's come across our path, but it's in that moment, something changed that day that you heard it. And you're right. I've always talked about the fact that we've been able to design our life. And I think that people out there, some folks don't think that's possible. Like, the saying you can, have your cake and eat it too. I mean, I believe you can. I absolutely believe you can because you and I are living proof of that. And
Absolutely.
I mean, if we can give people just a little, glimmer of hope that they can as well, that's what we're here to do because we figured it out. You guys, listening in, you don't have to figure it out. We figured it out. So just, get with us and we'll tell you. Um, and we'll help you on that journey for sure. There's nothing better than, getting to do what you want to do, when you want to do it, who you want to do it with. And you mentioned community.
Mhm.
Um, that gets me kind of emotional because, like you say, gosh, you and I have known each other a long time now. You're about to hit 50. I'm in my 50s. I think the 50s are the best. They're so much fun. It's like
Mhm.
we finally figured some stuff out, right? Took us a little while, but like I say,
But
we've
I
worked.
am who I am.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's amazing being able to help others. So, when we look at our future, you and I were chatting yesterday about gas prices. I
Oh,
mean, and trying to we were trying to do the conversion right from gallons to liters. Um, but it was interesting because when I went to gas up my car, I went to Costco. That's typically where I gas up, and I still could go about 40 miles my car. I've never put $100 worth of gas in my car.
mhm.
And gas pump at Costco actually shut off. Like it hit 100 and it stopped. And I was like, I knew, I didn't think the car was full yet. I guess I could have put in another credit card and started over to get more gas in it. Um, but you and I started talking about the fact that there's so many people out there that when they're going to put gas in their car, they might only have the opportunity to put in 5 or 10 gallons. Like that's what their budget allows. So many people are needing and looking and wanting to be a part of the gig economy, right? We need
Yeah.
to have other sources of income, other streams. And doesn't even quit what you're doing, especially if you're passionate about it. But it means, like you did, I mean, you started very part-time with me. And over the years, you've earned a very substantial figures, as you were raising your family and doing all these other things. So let's talk about your future and e-commerce. I mean, where
Mm.
do you see yourself? And again, you've got so many great people joining the team right now. Thank you for your leadership as well, by the way.
You.
Love working with you. It's so awesome. And then we're bringing all these people with us, which is super cool.
Right.
So what's your vision for, let's say, the next year even?
Right. Well, for the next year, I mean, I have such a passion right now. Yes, for the healthy part, the wellness side of what we do, but also for the economic side of what we do. And you just mentioned it with gas prices. And just to kind of back up there a bit, so you texted me yesterday morning and asked me what the price of gas was, and I said it was
Right.
196 per liter here in Saskatchewan. By the end of the day, my husband came home and drove by the gas station and said it was $2.06. So in the one day, and I think it was just the one day, that
Yeah.
it might have changed yesterday or whatnot, but it's like you've got to be kidding. So yeah, it's we used to talk a lot about, helping people bring in extra income to be able to fulfill their dreams. And I believe that is still super important. But I think it's also important now. We're at a point where people need the extra money to
Mhm.
live. It's
Yeah.
it's not just about dreaming anymore. It's about being able to put $100 in their tank when they go to fill up and not worrying about, I just have $25 in the bank account. That's what I can put in my vehicle, right? So I think we're just poised perfectly, working with a very noble company, very noble people, very noble partnerships. And just this year, that's what I want to help people with. It's
Yeah.
allowing them to be comfortable, to have that feeling of comfort financially that I have, knowing that there's constant, consistent income there, and not ever worrying about somebody taking that away from me for whatever reason.
Well, isn't that exactly what we've all learned in this last couple of years? I mean, I learned it like 28 years ago because we were going through a recession in Canada, and all of a sudden I found myself without a job. It wasn't
Mm.
my fault that we were in a recession, right? It's not our fault that, inflation is going cuckoo crazy.
Right?
And I mean, gas prices, groceries. Oh my gosh, I went and bought some groceries yesterday at Trader Joe's, one grocery bag, $103.
I
I don't
believe
know
it.
what I had. No meat. Okay, this was vegetables in one bag. I mean, absolutely crazy.
Yes.
So, you're so right. I mean, we have the answer. I mean, there's no doubt in our minds. We've been doing this for, again, we're nearly 3 decades in, Rochelle.
Yeah.
And we're aging backwards too. Have you noticed that?
Oh, for sure. Well, success leaves clues in many areas, right?
And I think that all of this ties in as well, that people want to be a part of a movement, something bigger than themselves as well. We got to take care of ourselves, but being a part of a team where we're cheering each other on, we're helping each other, we're working with each other day in and day out, that makes me jump out of bed in the morning.
Yeah. For
For
sure it
sure.
does. And, I heard that so many times over the last few years as well, too, with especially the women that I was partnering with, and just how, okay, they were in their regular jobs throughout
Mhm.
the daytime, or whatever hours they had. But then, and maybe it wasn't all that positive in some industries over the past few years, right? So it's like, but obviously you have to be at work, you have to earn that income, but then to be able to hop on and spend some time with us and our
Mm.
team and our group, just that positive, uplifting, just spirit-filled people, and just what a difference it made for them in their days to even be better at the jobs that they had to do throughout the day, right? So yeah, I think we're just in such a great spot right now to help so many people.
Awesome. Well, Rachelle, thank you for spending some time with me today and sharing your story. I know so many women out there will relate to it. And we truly are building a legacy together. So, again, I thank you. And we'll look forward to being back here next month. So, mark your calendar. The first Tuesday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific, we are here interviewing some great people on our team. And again, we sure hope you decide to reach out and learn more. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, Myrna. Take care.